Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. So, I did it, guys. I went through Batman and Robin. Granted, it required a little bit of alcohol. Yeah, that's delicious and gross at the same time. That's vodka and Pepsi. That's all I had. So, I'm not going to say that this film required me to drink, but ironically enough, I felt like I had a hangover after watching the movie, before I started really drinking. This was not easy, and I'm gonna trash it, but I'm a Batman fan, so I went into this for this sheer hope that I could in some way find something good. And you know what's surprising is I actually did find some things good, some things that I liked, which I never expected. It had been years since I'd seen Batman and Robin. Because I remember how terrible it was when I was a kid. Even as a kid, I was like, this is really shitty. Okay, so let's talk. First thing, the title Batman and Robin would have been better for the film Batman Forever. The title Batman Forever would have been better for this film Batman and Robin. Because in Batman Forever, you're introducing Batman and Robin. In this film, yeah, Robin is more of he's not more of a character than he was in Batman Forever. He's still the same amount of screen time, still really the same amount of character development. He's still kind of like, I want to be your partner. I got to do this. I got to step up for myself. I want to be my own man. Same thing in Batman Forever. So really, the title was just stupid. One more thing. The way they build the cast was Arnold Schwarzenegger first, George Clooney second. Now listen, that made sense to have the villain be the first build in the first Batman because Jack Nicholson had more star power. But then they went their own thing, and then Batman became prominently first build. Even in Batman v Superman, Ben Affleck is cast first. Which is funny because really it's a sequel to Man of Steel. It's Superman's movie, the sequel to Superman's movie, and Batman gets first billing. So let's just get through this. I'll try and talk about the goods first. The goods. This actually, believe it or not, had one of the best relationships of Alfred and Batman. I know. But this one features more in touch of how they're a family. It showed flashbacks of, not flashbacks, just sort of like, I mean, there's sort of flashbacks in present time where Batman's looking off in the distance and he sees a memory like down the hallway, that kind of thing. So, Alfred is dying, and so they feature a lot of how he is significant, and they even question, is he a servant or is he a family member? Yeah, he's getting paid for his servitude, but they point blank ask him, like, do you have a regret, doing this, being a servant? And he just says, the only thing I regret is not going out there with you. Which is touching. I mean, this is very much a touching story of Alfred and Batman. And Robin, essentially. And I liked that it was secondary. It wasn't the main focus. That's sort of what the Nolan trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, sort of focused more on. How it wasn't just Batman. It was Batman and Alfred together, and they were a team. Because there was no Robin, and, they need to have someone bounce off dialogue with. For it can't just be Batman brooding the entire time. So this was interesting to see, and I had completely forgotten him. I knew that Alfred was dying in this one, and that was a big plot point, but I didn't remember it being so touching and actually being well. Um, Second good thing, George Clooney was a great Bruce Wayne. He actually was a really good Bruce Wayne. He kind of had the same. He did the cockiness and lightheartedness really well. He was sort of aloof. He was very much a playboy, and I mean, it is George Clooney, so in a weird way, George Clooney was sort of playing himself in many scenes. Very much a ladies' man, bachelor. Even at one point, Bruce Wayne is asked, like, when are you going to marry your girlfriend? And he's like, marriage? And that's very much like George Clooney. Like, he got married recently. And he, for years, was like, I'll never get married. It'll never happen, blah, 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 blah. Who else is good in this? I'm not going to say Uma Thurman was good in this. But for the time period, you know, mid to late 90s, Uma Thurman was okay as Poison Ivy. She did come off very cheesy and hammy a couple times. And a couple scenes she had like a weird faux British accent. Like upper class, yeah, so what's going on? Slightly British. And you watch it and you're just kind of like, you need to fucking pick a voice. Are you upper class or are you a hippie? Because she comes off very, save Mother Nature, save the planet. You know, Mother Nature needs you, blah, 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 blah. Very radical and hippie-ish. Which, I think I discovered something. People assume that she would be like a vegetarian, but she wouldn't. She's all about plants. She'd be a hardcore meat eater. That's all she would eat would be meat. Can't think of anything else she would eat. Can you? I am kind of drunk. So, Uma Thurman had her moments. Chris O'Donnell, for this time period and this Robin, was fine. He's still not Robin the Boy Wonder. He's very much on the verge of becoming Nightwing. And they talk about how he wants to be his own man in this. And to be fair, they really should have. I did some research after this. And they had planned a couple movies after this. This was supposed to be successful. It also made a lot of money, but critically it flopped. Commercially, it was amazing. But they were like, we can't fucking make another one. We're, you know, even George Clooney quipped after filming his final scene. He's like, I think we just killed the franchise. Even he knew. So they were supposed to make like a standalone Robin movie. It was going to be called Nightwing. Not going to lie. I actually kind of would have been into that. And they're going to make a Nightwing movie now. Thankfully, it's not Chris O'Donnell. But, you know what? Franchise is moving on. They're doing their own DC Extended Universe. I'm into it, man. I'm all for it. Give me more Batman. Give me more Nightwing. Give me a Robin solo film. Make a Nightwing movie and have Batman come in and fuck around with Nightwing and introduce a young Robin. Why not? You have limitless, potential. They're going to make a Gotham City Sirens. We're going to see a new Poison Ivy. We're going to see a new Catwoman. We already have a Harley Quinn. So, I'm all for it. But you could see they were putting in the stepping stones of trying to make their own extended universe. With the first line Batman says, the very first line of this movie, is a response to Robin saying, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. And then Batman looks over and says, this is why Superman works alone. Oh, fuck. They mentioned Superman. Superman exists in this film. We never see him. But this was all supposed to be a crossover to eventually become Superman Lives, which was the Tim Burton, Kevin Smith, Tim Burton, Kevin Smith combo film. Which means it would have been Nicolas Cage as Superman, and either George Clooney or Michael Keaton would have come back for a crossover. That's fucking nuts. And watching this movie, you're like, this is a terrible movie, but I would pay to see this train wreck of a film. Just to see basically Batman versus Superman in the 90s. Can you imagine how bizarre that would be? Especially if it was like Schumacher or Burton directing both. It'd be crazy. Nicolas Cage and fucking, George Clooney. I can't do a very good George Clooney. But them just sort of squaring off and... Dude. So bizarre. Alright, let me try and get back into this. What else was good? Not a whole lot. I mean, I really try. I mean, like I said, there were some things I'm like, oh shit, that wasn't bad. But it wasn't much. So now we gotta talk about the bad. Numero uno. Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Good fucking God. Like I said in the last video, Batman Forever was very much a Jim Carrey movie and a Jim Carrey vehicle. This was so a Schwarzenegger fucking movie. The title alone, Batman and Robin, is a fucking lie. But the casting, first billing, like I talked about, Arnold Schwarzenegger's numero one. Now, you could argue that it's like alphabetically or something, but it really isn't. It's star power. Schwarzenegger was at the top of his game. He had made T2 5 years previously. He was still on top. He was Arnold. This is before Governor Arnold, but he was still one of the richest fucking motherfuckers ever, and one of the biggest action stars, if not the biggest action star. I'm a fan of Schwarzenegger, or at least I was for a while. Like, I loved Terminator movies. I loved, Eraser, Commando, fucking all of them, Predator. And you go into that being like, I'm going to expect some cheesiness. I'm going to expect a lot of cheesy one-liners. And you sort of embrace them. I do not want cheesy fucking one-liners in my Batman movie. I want them gritty. I want it. If he's going to have a one-liner, it's got to be gritty and cynical. Kind of like, perfect example, Ben Affleck says, "Do you bleed?" And then fucking Superman looks at him like, "Motherfucker, what'd you say?" He says, "You will." That's a perfect Batman line. Not him whipping out the fucking his credit card, and it says, expiration date, it says forever. Never leave the cave without it. Come on, man. This whole thing was just silly, stupid fucking ice puns. Freezy puns. There's someone made a count. There's like 35 of them or something ridiculous like that. Where, of course, he says, "All right, everybody, chill," and shoots them all and freezes them with his fucking ice gun. Or, if it's not him, it's someone else being like, "Come on, let's go heat things up." He's like, "No, I will do that." And then she's like, "Ooh, talk about your cold shoulder." Look, I blame whoever decided to... it's Schumacher, really. Schumacher wanted to make this movie with Schwarzenegger because in his interpretation, his words were, Mr. Freeze should look big and strong, like he was chiseled out of a glacier. Just bad idea. You already have a big imposing character like Bane in this. And we'll talk about Bane at some point. But for this, if you were ever a fan of the animated series like I was, Mr. Freeze had one of the most pivotal and heartbreaking episodes. Heart of Ice, I think it's called. And it more or less is the same plot point, which is he is robbing banks to try and fund his research to save his wife. His wife has a rare disease, and in the meantime of him trying to solve her illness and cure her illness, he has a malfunctioning, fucked up accident, which makes him have to survive in his refrigerated suit. That is the same in the animated series as well as in the movie. The difference is the character development. I mean, Mr. Freeze in the animated series is very monotone, and all the emotion is pulled way, 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 way back. Schwarzenegger cackles and is grinning and is gleefully making his fucking ice puns. Ice to see you. Like, literally, that's a line. And it just doesn't work. You know, if I was going to cast Mr. Freeze, I would have gotten Patrick Stewart. Looks the role. I would have gone Anthony Hopkins. But Anthony Hopkins was pretty aged at this point. So was Patrick Stewart. But once you take away the fact that he's a big guy and is imposing and has to fight Batman and Robin, and you make him just a genius who has, gadgets and arsenal and ice tech, and he can use his mind to outthink Batman and Robin, makes it more of a compelling villain. Especially if you got Bane as the Muscle, or Poison Ivy, manipulating her fucking weeds. Yeah, I said weeds, god damn it. So, already just a bad casting decision. The next bad casting decision, George Clooney as Batman. Now, I did say George Clooney was a great Bruce Wayne. He was. He had the playboy attitude. But George Clooney played George Clooney as Batman. That's it. Whatever the cocky, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm lighthearted, and I'm a playboy, and I'm always doing... Fucking George Clooney is a bobblehead. He just fucking does this shit the entire time. And you notice it because the fucking ears are always doing this shit. He needs a fucking... take the spring out of his neck. He's just like, yeah, doing this shit. And it works for Bruce Wayne, but not for Batman. This is the silliest interpretation, apart from Adam West's Batman, that I've ever had the misfortune of seeing. And George Clooney knew that. Apparently he has been known to give people their money back if they make a big deal. Like, hey man, I saw Batman and Robin. He's like, alright, here's $5. I'm sorry. I take full responsibility. But he's also not ungrateful. He just got out of the show ER and had been in a couple movies. Like he was in From Dusk Till Dawn and whatnot, and really other small movies. And he was on his way to becoming a star. This is the guy who was on Roseanne in his beginning of his career. Look that shit up. George Clooney was on like the first season of Roseanne. Fuck. And Batman and Robin, believe it or not, made him a star. That's the only major thing that happened, is it killed the franchise and made Clooney a star. Not going to complain. I like some George Clooney movies. I think he's kind of cool. Out of Sight is a fantastic movie. From Dusk Till Dawn, he's great in. And other random George Clooney movies I can't think of at the top of my head. But Batman is not imposing. He is very much a fucking joke. And he's not the world's greatest detective. He can think things through at best. But he's not a detective. Batman is supposed to be a fucking genius. When is he a genius in this movie? It's just not good casting. If they want to do something like have a different actor, even that wouldn't save it. I mean, even if you took Ben Affleck or Christian Bale or Michael Keaton and put them in this movie, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't make a difference. The movie would still suck. Because Schwarzenegger fucking ruined it. And it's not just Schwarzenegger. It was Also, Alicia Silverstone. Not needed. This movie was not needed. Did not need fucking Batgirl. And if you're going to put Batgirl in the movie, try and stick to the fact that in the comics, she is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. I don't know why this keeps changing. It keeps moving around. There we go. She's Commissioner Gordon's daughter, but they had the actor Pat Hingle, who he and Michael Goff are the only two actors to have appeared in all 4 of the Schumacher-Burton films. And they're like, well, we want Batgirl, but we don't really believe that Alicia Silverstone looks like Pat Hingle. So don't fucking have Batgirl in it. And where does it say that people that are fat have fat kids? My parents are both skinny. I'm fat. Go figure. People have different metabolisms. It's not always genetic. So, they made her Alfred's great niece or grandniece. Not great grandniece, but grandniece. And she has been away in a British school, which they call Oxbridge, which is Oxford and Cambridge combined. And I don't know if they came up with this shit, or if that was just like a movie thing to just go for. Oh, you need a generic British school, call it Oxbridge. Really kind of, it doesn't flow well. And so she's been a student there, comes home to help Alfred, who for some reason only she knows is sick. They never really established how she fucking knew that. And you would think, like I said, world's greatest detective, he didn't notice Alfred getting sick. But to be fair, Alfred didn't really want to show him. But you would think he'd at least fucking be aware of what's going on in his own goddamn house. This chick doesn't have a British accent. You would think, at least from spending 5 years in England, she would have developed a slight accent. I don't know, man. Was she a bad actress? I don't know if Alicia Silverstone is a bad actress. I've only seen a couple things of with her in it. She doesn't flow well on this, that's for sure. She's kind of cheesy, but you know what? It's not just her fault. It's the director. It's Schumacher. Whoever wrote this fucking Akiva Goldsmith. Everyone else is hamming it up. Honestly, the only one who tries to be serious in this movie is Chris O'Donnell. That's gotta say something. Chris O'Donnell can act. He, squared off against Pacino and Scent of Woman. He held his own. He did a good job. So I blame the script. I blame the director. I blame Warner Brothers trying to make this a kids movie. When from what I've read, Schumacher kept wanting to make it dark and gritty, but he just gave in and says, "All right, everyone, we're making a kids movie." He would get on a megahorn and yell out, "We're making a kids movie, just remember." And that sort of set the tone for all the actors. They were just like, do we even need to fucking try? Even Clooney was just like, all right, I'm Batman. Yeah, freeze, watch out. Like, you could just tell he was just not into it. No one was really into it. Ironically enough, the one who looks like he's having the most fucking fun is Schwarzenegger. That's because he knew he got paid $25 million for this movie. Okay. Uma Thurman. Kind of okay, kind of bad. Very hammy. But like I said, with all the other actors, they're all kind of hammy. They're all kind of just, well, let's say our lines. That's what we're here for. The action sequences were ridiculous. Especially for the Schumacher movies. All the thugs and all the bad guys that Batman and Robin just like take down one by one. They're all grunty buffoons. Hey, boss, let's go do this, boss. And just fucking, like that kind of shit. And the punches are stupid. The kicks are stupid. You could tell it's a stuntman. At one point, I mean, everything is ice related. So, like, at one point, Batman and Robin have, like, ice skates, like come out of their heels and shit. And, like, they click their fucking heels and these things pop out. I mean, for the setting, yeah, I guess you need to have that. Otherwise, they're going to slip and slide. But I don't know, man. It just, there was just too many puns and too many bad decisions. Stuff I would have wished I had not seen. So, we got to talk about Bane. Now, granted, Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. This came out, Batman and Robin came out in 1997. This is the first time they used Bane. This is the first time they gave him a name apart from Bane. They gave him Diego something. And he's a normal little guy, and he's being experimented on, and he's given very much the comic iteration, which is, you know, he has a super serum thing that bulks him up, makes him super strong, and blah, 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 blah. For this, will you stop it? Sorry, my cat's playing with some rapper. They took whatever intelligence the character had, and then we eventually saw in The Dark Knight Rises, played by Tom Hardy, and made him dumb down. And he's just growling and grunting through the entire fucking thing. And he repeats words like they say, "No more monkey business. We have things to do." He's like, "Monkey, do, bleh." Like, fuck. Actually, to believe it or not, his voice sounded pretty similar to fucking Christian Bale's. "Where is he? Where's the trigger?" No, 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 no. Very Cookie Monster, and it's fucking just. That's all I kept thinking of. Like, did Christian Bale dub this motherfucker? On the flip side, you have Tom Hardy's fucking weird voice, which was. Yes, I was wondering. Like fucking weird Patrick Stewart, slightly Caribbean voice, and I don't know, man. Bizarre. All these actors come up with bizarre fucking things. Granted, Tom Hardy's Bane voice is better because he actually is intelligent. You can hear the intelligence. This guy's. So that didn't flow well with me. Can you imagine if they fucking took the new Bane's lines and put him in with this guy's voice? "I've got this reckoning, blah, blah, blah." Fucking no. Terrible. Terrible fucking idea. Did this movie kill the franchise? You're fucking goddamn right it did. Is this movie good? You're fucking wrong. No, there's no fucking way this is a good movie. It's got like a 3.8 on IMDb. I've seen like direct-to-DVD sequels that are more entertaining than this fucking movie. Schumacher should have said no. He should have said, if you want me to make another Batman movie, let me do what I originally want to do, which is Batman Year One, or, you know, something dark and gritty, which eventually Christopher Nolan did. It took this movie to kill the franchise to get a good interpretation of Batman, and dark and gritty and realistic, not fucking cartoony. The irony is the cartoon, the animated series, is a million times, and I mean a million times, fucking better. And not to say it's bad. It's, I mean, no Batman has really come close to that level of care for the character, understanding the villains. Even the voice actors are amazing. I mean, when people ask me who my ideal Joker is, I don't say Jack Nicholson. I don't say Heath Ledger. And I certainly don't fucking say Jared Leto. I say Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was the best Joker we'll ever get. And I've been requested at some point to do The Killing Joke. And I'll have to do The Killing Joke at some point. The Killing Joke, from what I hear, I still have not seen it, is the Batman and Robin of the animated movies. Which was funny because the majority of the animated movies have all been amazing. Next video, I will be doing Under the Red Hood, which is probably one of my favorite Batman movies. Not just animated, but movies. And I'll do that. I'll explain why. And it'll be so refreshing to fucking do that one after this one, because this was like, this was god awful. So what am I going to grade it? Well, I graded Batman Forever a 2. If that gets a 2, this gets a fucking 0. That's right. Probably my first movie that I review that gets 0. Even despite all the good things that I mentioned earlier, it doesn't excuse it. Sure, it gave, Clooney acting credibility, because they're like, well, we see what you're like when you suck. Let's see you do better. And he did better. It ruined Alicia Silverstone's career. Chris O'Donnell is now just doing TV. Uma Thurman went on to become a serious actress in her own way. But that was pure luck by Tarantino. Not many people would have cast her except Tarantino. Tarantino had a huge crush on her, or whatever the fuck. So, I mean, yeah, she's talented too. I mean, Kill Bill is an amazing film, but she's also the same type of cheesiness that she is in Pulp Fiction. But in Pulp Fiction, it works. She's supposed to be kind of quippy and pop culture referencing and Tarantino dialoguing, and it doesn't work well in this. She was kind of sexy though in this film, not gonna lie. Still, gotta give it a 0. So, what did you think? Did you guys like it? Were you like me and saw this in theaters and was like, what the fuck? I was 6 when this came out. I remember vividly my cousin and I watching this when we were kids, and us kind of enjoying it, but also really poking a lot of fun at it. And even back then, we just knew. We just knew it was not very good. So, I guess I'm going to end the video because I don't know what else to say. It's a terrible film. But it's great to dissect. And like I said, it surprised me a couple times. Not enough to change my opinion or my rating. But it did surprise me. Like I'm sure it surprised every fucking one else in 1997. Well, guys, that's it. I did the 4 first Batman films. Next up are the ones that are going to be fun until we get to Batman v Superman. This motherfucker. Alright, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Love you all. Take care.